journalist. James Creedon with Media Watch. How are you, sir?
Very well, thanks, Mark.
Now let's talk the hurricanes. Reporters have been covering the hurricanes in difficult conditions, as we see on TV. They're being blown away and all this kind of stuff. Some people are saying, should they be taking very obvious risks?
So there's one debate really that seems to be dominating on social media. Maybe not dominating, but it's very present and it keeps coming back again and again. Should they be there? Is it a case of they're doing their jobs and actually alerting people to the dangers? Or is there an element of over-the-top spectacle about it all? That's kind of to boil it down.
I think it's probably both, you know, James.
I think it probably
Having
is.
been a reporter for many years, you have the element of wanting to be there in the middle of it to show you are there.
Yeah.
And that says something to the viewer. It also gives something to the story, but also you raise the question, should you be putting yourself at that kind of risk?
That's right.
And I'm 50-50 on it.
Right. It's. I think there's truth on both sides. It's not a new dilemma, if you like, but just to read one quote from the New York Times on this, because they present both sides as well. The tradition of TV crews standing in the middle of a dangerous storm goes back decades, reflecting the hunger to be on the scene for a nationally significant event. But the news value of dangerous stand-ups is increasingly being questioned, particularly with the rise of social media. So that debate is getting louder and louder because more people are contributing to it online, if you like. Some critics wondering whether they are unnecessary and overly sensational spectacles, especially in cases where correspondents are struggling to deliver information.
Because once upon a time, I would be the guy stood there in the storm. But nowadays, of course, everybody's got their own camera and they can be the guy stood there in the storm and give you something that's perhaps even more immediate.
But I'm just wondering a lot of the time how the camera crews manage it, because water damage, trying to kind of prevent the screen from getting... I mean, I almost have as much sympathy for more sympathy for the camera guys.
Oh, the technical people are the real stars.
That's it, absolutely, because I don't know how they get it done. For example, a television news crew wading into a flooded street in Miami during Hurricane Irma. And that actually is a moment where the winds aren't even so high, but you have umpteen examples. This probably isn't even the most dramatic of people almost being kind of blown away. I'm not sure if you can see the extent to which some of those images are very dramatic. The winds there catching the palm trees and showing the extent to which it's very windy indeed.
Her feet are firmly on the ground. She's going nowhere.
Right.
She's on air.
Well, what about this guy? His feet are on the ground too, but
I was watching him earlier. He's very good.
He's getting slammed in Key Largo, and CNN are even pointing that out. Now, just below that video, you have one person making this comment: well, heed the National Weather Service and seek cover inside. This is not safe. Lead by example. I guess it's worth saying that it's one thing for regular citizens where they have houses, and those houses could be badly positioned. They could be at risk of flooding, whatever. One would imagine news crews are taking precautions greater than what maybe every citizen can predict.
I wouldn't actually subscribe to that one, James.
Okay.
You're probably taking risks, frankly, just to be there.
Maybe, depending on the moment, I suppose. Now, this one I love, Mark. Chris Cuomo, another one who's been almost blown away. This is a quote from him on CNN. He said this on air. There is a strong argument to be made that standing in a storm is not a smart thing to do. Yet, I suppose he's there, right?
Yeah. He has a way.
So he knows
he has
himself.
a way of hitting those things. I think he's got a very good sense of humour.
He knows himself that there is this 50-50 thing going on that we're talking about. This one. Do we really need to watch reporters getting pummeled by wind and rain? But
they get paid for that. No, they shouldn't be there.
That person is watching. Now, here's one answer to that. In Trump's America, sadly, it is climate change is a hoax made in China. And actually, unfortunately, that's not entirely false. Some people are subscribing to the idea that all of this is being trumped up and that it's got political motivations.
Nice
whatever. Unless, well, yeah, I didn't even think of that. Actually, that was unintentional. What else? Nope, we need cameras and human faces at the scene, just like they do in the battlefront. So you can see that they were responses to that first comment, Mark.
It's our job as reporters to be there, to tell the story, to be the honest witness and to tell that story well. And how else can you do that unless you are there amongst it, right in the middle of it?
And I guess
that's the question, isn't it?
And I guess a reporter doing his or her job well won't overly sensationalise it, will just report on the facts. One final remark.
I agree with that completely, James.
Well, I guess it's the balance to strike. Do TV reporters think we wouldn't believe there's a hurricane blowing unless they stood in the middle of it? So there you go. Look, we're back into it now. You see, we're never going to get to the bottom of this one. There is one point I thought was interesting. I didn't actually see this made, but it's just a thought I had myself. There you go.
Take it away.
All right, okay.
Clear your throat.
My thought. So the argument, I forgot, actually not my thought first. Some field reporters insist, this is the New York Times, that the visuals from the storms are essential in persuading people to take hurricane threats seriously and getting them to leave the area. Valid. But also, let's say a network made the decision, it's too dangerous, we're not sending reporters. That would also send a very strong message to people at home saying, oh, hold on, XYZ network is not sending anyone there. It really is dangerous. We should get out. And you'll always have images from CCTV or whatnot. So I don't know. I guess it depends on just how viable the reporting is. If it's viable at all, I suppose people are going to be sent. It's just a fact.
It's our job to do the news. We've got to go to the places where the news happens, and we've got to take it on the chin. That's part of the thing.
Right.
That's with our job, and that's something we should do.
That's
I think.
Well,
but be careful and don't take unnecessary risks. It's all contradictory, isn't it? The whole thing.
That's a quote from, I'm not sure if you even realise, from a very viral video a year or two ago in Ireland. Do you remember that one?
I do. James, thank you very much indeed. James Green for the Media. And all the business. Thank you too. Good to see you. Do stay with us. And if you are in anywhere near a hurricane, please be safe. Stay with us.